Hey there guys, so I know you're probably wondering, where is she? She's not in her typical location. So I decided to come to the other side of the room. I'm not at my desk, I'm actually on my couch because I decided I wanted to do an eyeshadow palette declutter. And for some reason in my mind, I figured it would be a smart idea to put eyeshadow on top of a beige couch. Let's get comfortable. Let's not have such a serious desk, you know, for this decluttering, because this is going to be hard for me. I'm really one of those people that it takes me a really long time to like get rid of stuff, especially like stuff that I feel like I can work with, and almost everything I feel like I can work with. I can make something work eventually. So I hold on to it. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to get rid of stuff that I'm not using. Let's get into it. The first palette, this is the Too Faced Chocolate Gold palette, and I do like this palette a lot. It's not a palette that I gravitate to often, and that's just because it's primarily metallics. I do love the fact that they do put some shades in here that are like mattes and that you can use them for your transition. It's a great transitional shades. I really love the mattes in this palette a lot, but I don't grab it like that often just because of like the colors. I mean, these are not colors that you would typically wear, you know, like these are definitely statement colors. These are not colors that I go and I reach for like on a daily basis, but I don't think I can declutter this one because it is really good quality. And I mean, when it starts to become like fall, I'll probably start jumping into this more often, and it's a really good palette and I like it. It smells a little bit like a sweet chocolate, which I can't stand it, and sometimes it does annoy me, so I can't say that I'm never going to declutter this one. I'm going to just keep on giving it more chances because I do like the palette. I really don't like the smell. It's not strong, so don't think that this is a smelly palette. It's just I'm weird. I'm really weird. When it comes to smells, I am weird. So I'm going to hold on to this one. Where am I going to put this? I hope I don't get my couch dirty. This was maybe not the best planning, Christina. We're going to keep that. Okay, so here's another palette that I really like this one too. So this is from Colourpop. This is the I Think I Love You palette from Colourpop. This is actually a really good palette too, guys. I use a lot of these colors. This is like a very typical palette though. I mean, like it's not like one of those palettes that I would say like, oh, it's so different, everybody needs it. But I would say that if you want a neutral tone palette and you don't have that many in your collection and you want something that you can take almost everywhere with you, like if you're going on a trip or anything and you just want neutral tones, but and then you want a little bit of a pop of color, this is the perfect palette. I've used this so often, and I use it to go to work, I use it to go out, and it's mostly like my everyday kind of palette that if I see it, I'm like, oh great, I can use that. If you look in it, I love the fact that there's a lime green color in here that you can totally add like a little bit of pizzazz to your eye. I've used it in the inner corner, I've used it on the waterline. This is a really good palette too, so I can't declutter this one. I'm keeping it. Not starting off too well. So we're gonna move on. This is from ELF, and this is the Mad for Matte eyeshadow palette, and this is in the color Summer Breeze. All right, when I first saw this eyeshadow palette, I thought it was absolutely stunning. I love the colors in it. It kind of reminded me of the Modern Renaissance from Anastasia Beverly Hills, so it kind of like drew me to it because I love these peachy tones in here. I don't have that many palettes that have like these type of peachy tones in it, and I really wanted one that had peachy tones, and I still don't think I have too many that have this peachy tones in it, but I really wanted one like this, and I was actually disappointed with the quality of this eyeshadow palette. They're all mattes, but since they were all mattes, I was expecting the mattes to be like amazing mattes, you know, like, ooh, I need these mattes, and I didn't feel like these mattes were that great. I did try it out once on first impressions, and when I did my first impressions, I was kind of like, they didn't blend that good. I didn't like the way that they felt on my eyes. I just didn't think that they were like what I wanted in an eyeshadow palette, which disappointed me because I really like ELF products, but I don't think I like too many of the ELF eyeshadows yet, at least not the ones I've tried. So I think I'm going to be able to say that I will be decluttering this one for sure. I will pass it on to somebody who likes it more than me. So here's another, how can I get rid of this guy? This is the Modern Renaissance from Anastasia Beverly Hills. Guys, honestly, I think everybody needs to own this palette. I love this palette so much. It does have a lot of warm tones in it, but this is the most beautiful palette. This palette does not do me wrong. I love it so much. I use it very often. There is no way that I am parting ways with this palette. Since we're talking about palettes that There is no way I'm gonna declutter, and I'm gonna jump into the subculture, the subculture gate. Everybody talks so bad about this palette, but guys, I love this palette. I do think that there is a lot of fallout. I'm not gonna say, oh, the fallout is no big deal. There is a lot of fallout in this, but guys, these colors are so stunning. I love these colors so much. I've created a lot of the eye looks that you guys see that I'm wearing, that I have greens and yellows. A lot of the times that I create these really cool eye looks that you guys like, I'm using the subculture palette because the pigmentation in this palette is phenomenal. And the color selection in here is so unique. And I love mixing these colors together on my eyes to create really cool smoky out eyes that have like different colors in them, but these colors work so good together. And sometimes when I talk about like eyeshadow palettes that I feel like they really thought of how the colors can mix together, I feel like Anastasia Beverly Hills does that perfection. Like, she mixes colors together that you think, wow, those would look good together, and yes, bomb together. You mix them together and they do a phenomenal job. Subculture, I love it. I love this palette, guys, so it's a keeper for me. I'm doing bad. I'm doing so bad. I'm bad. Let's move on. So BoxyCharm sends me a lot of eyeshadow palettes in my boxes, and I will tell you, a lot of times I do like the eyeshadow palettes, and then sometimes I don't love them so much. This is an eyeshadow palette that I got from Crown Brushes, and it's the Glam Mettalics, Glam Metals. And I will tell you, this was such a unique eyeshadow palette. I do like it a lot. I like the colors in it, but I don't actually gravitate to it at all. I don't know why I don't use it often, but I really don't. I probably have used this probably 4 or 5 times max, but there is some colors in here that I like. Oh gosh, do I declutter you? Do I declutter you? I'm gonna give this guy one more shot. I mean, I should declutter it because I really don't use it, but I feel like some of these colors in here I don't have, and unless I find that I have more palettes that have these colors, I'm gonna keep it for now. I'm bad at this. I'm a bad declutterer. Do not copy me, guys. I'm horrible. Alright guys, let's jump into the Naked 2 from Urban Decay. Guys, I used to use this palette like nonstop, and I'm looking at it right now, and the colors really are so pretty in this palette. This palette has such cool colors. It's very cool tone, which I do like a lot. I like cool tones. I know a lot of people don't like cool tones, but I actually enjoy cool tones. I like this palette, but I feel like I've had this palette for too long already, so the only reason I'm going to declutter it is because I think it's probably old. And that hurt me, because I actually like that palette. That hurt. So guys, this is the Natasha Denona Mini Sunset palette, and you guys saw me review this just recently. You have to use your finger when you use those metallics. If you try using your brush, it's like really underwhelming. But I can't part ways with this guy yet because I actually use this a lot. Believe it or not, this is one of the palettes that I use almost the most recently because the mattes in here are so amazing. And I don't think the metallics are bad. They're good metallics. Since it's Natasha Denona, I thought they were gonna be like amazing metallics, you know, and they were okay. Like I've had better metallics, but it's not a declutter worthy. I like it. This is from CoverGirl. This is a True Naked Jewels palette. I did do a first impressions on this palette and I was not thrilled. I really like the colors that they used inside this palette. I think it's a unique palette. It wasn't the cheapest palette. I feel like it was like $13 or something like that. But to be honest, guys, I don't gravitate to this at all because the pigmentation's not really like there, and I feel like I have to go over a few times to get the colors to come out. You guys see my recorder, sorry, I didn't hide it properly. There, it's hidden now. I think that this is something I gravitate to, so for that reason, I will be decluttering it. All right, guys, so this is the KKW Beauty. This is the KKW Beauty Mario collaboration palette. I really like this palette a lot. I think the colors in it are really pretty. I know a lot of people have said like, oh, it's not unique. There's not that many colors in here that are different. But to be honest, guys, I think it's a really cohesive palette. I do think it's a little bit different. Yes, there is browns in here, and yes, there is more rusty tones in here. But if you really look at a lot of warm tone palettes, they don't really have like these type of caramel and then this type of dark brown that has more of a gray tone to it. And I feel like these colors are a little bit unique. I feel like they are not basic colors. They added some tints to them. I think it is different. To me, it's a really good palette. I like this one a lot. The pigmentation is awesome. The wear time is great. The blendability is good. I really like this palette, so I'm not parting ways with you. So let's move on. Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette. Yeah, no, you're not going anywhere. Guys, this palette This palette is an amazing palette. It has almost every single color in here that you can think of if you want to make like a really cool eye. You have your neutrals, you also have your pops of color. You can do a cool tone look with this palette. I did one just recently, but it's mostly a warm tone palette, but that does not matter because it is absolutely stunning and I like it a lot, so I'm not parting ways with this palette. Yeah, so this is from Too Faced. This is the Natural Love palette. Guys, this palette was so disappointing to me. I really thought it was such a pretty palette when I bought it. I said, oh my god, look at all those colors. They're so different. I want pastels in my life. I don't have anything that's pastel-y. It had this really cute outer packaging. I liked it a lot, but I don't like the pigmentation in this palette. It's lacking pigment. It doesn't apply easily to your eyes. It's just not a really good overall palette for me. I don't like this palette. I don't know why it's still in my collection. I'm gonna declutter this one. Okay, so this is another one of my ginormous palettes. This is from Morphe. This is the 3502. I don't have the 3501, so for me, it made sense to buy the 3502. I actually like this palette. Like, I'm not jumping into my warm tone palettes that much right now. That does not mean that I don't love this palette. I do like this palette a lot. The pigmentation on this is really good, so I'm not parting ways with this because I like it. All right, so this is from Kat Von D. This is their Shade and Light Eye, like it's like a contour palette. This is such a good palette too, guys. I really enjoy this palette. I love the colors in it. I have been able to come out with some really cool eye looks. Did I blind you? This is not a palette that I can part ways with. Even though the colors are pretty typical in here, there is just, I don't know, you need one of these type of palettes and I don't want to give it up. And I know I have the I Think I Love You, which is similar, but they're different. They're different. They are different. I'm keeping it. I'm terrible. All right, guys, so this is the Nudes and this is from Maybeline. I saw this at the drugstore and I said, oh, you know what? It would be cool to get a drugstore basic palette that kind of like everybody can buy and people would love. I don't like this palette. This palette has no pigment. I didn't like the way it blended on my eyes. I didn't like the shimmers. I didn't like the metallics. It was just a fail for me. I don't know why I still have it either. So this guy I am going to declutter. Team Declutter. So this one here is from Laura Gellar. This is the iconic New York collection. And I bought the Downtown Cool eyeshadow palette. This is all cool tones basically in this eyeshadow palette and I really like this palette. It's not a palette that I gravitate to too often. This is a good eyeshadow palette. I do like a lot of the colors in here. I can make some pretty decent looks with this and I just haven't gravitated to recently. I don't know why. Maybe because I keep buying other eyeshadow palettes, but I definitely am going to keep this one because this is good quality. I do like it. I feel like it was a little on the expensive side and maybe that's why I want to keep it because I'm like, wait, I spent a lot of money on you. All right, guys, so this one here is from Violet Voss. This is such a neat palette, guys. This is their rainbow palette. And what I like about this palette is it looks like they're all shimmers, which I think they are all like shiny, shimmery kind of colors. But on your eyes, they don't translate that shimmery. So I have used some of these in my crease, but I actually really enjoy this palette to add it to my whole lid, you know, like for that pop of color, to add color to my eyes. I've used it a lot for my waterline, especially when I want to put color in my waterline. This is definitely one of those palettes I can't part ways with because I feel like it's just a good palette. There's a lot of pigment in here and there's a lot of product in here, and this was a good buy, so I'm definitely going to keep this one. Okay, so this is another boxy charm. This is from Winky Lux and this is the Kitten palette. To be honest, guys, when I first saw this palette, I wasn't 100% sure. It doesn't look like it's anything out of this world when you see it like this, but this palette together works really well, and I've created some really pretty eye looks with this, so I'm not going to part ways with it because I feel like it's a little bit different to my collection and I want to keep it. So this is from Colourpop and this is the Element of Surprise. I did get this one also in my boxy charm. This is definitely different too to my collection. There's the hot pink. Some of these colors are a little bit better than other colors. I feel like a lot of the colors in this palette translate a lot lighter on your eyes than they look in the palette. So that is a little bit of the downside to it, but the colors themselves are pretty and they look good on my eyes, and I have come out with like some pretty neat eye looks with it. So I haven't finished like really playing with this palette enough for me to say, oh, I want to keep it for sure, and oh, I think I should declutter it. I think it's definitely a keeper for now, so I'm going to keep this. This one here is from Colourpop II. This is the Yes Please palette. There is nothing that I can say about this palette but that I am definitely keeping this. I like this palette a lot. I know it's similar to a lot of warm tone palettes. It was kind of like a knockoff of the Natasha Denona Sunset palette, but it's really good and it's worth keeping. Doing bad. I feel like I'm doing bad. Okay guys, so this is from ELF. This is called the Aqua Beauty. This is their velvet eyeshadows. Guys, I really don't like this at all. Maybe I just don't like velvet, like cushiony eyeshadows that are like weird and smushy. But guys, this is so weird. People were telling me, oh, the reason that you don't like it is because you're supposed to use your fingers. Well, I don't want to use my fingers. I don't mind using my finger for shimmers or for metallics, but when there's mattes that you have to use your finger for, I'm like, well, how the hell am I supposed to blend that into my crease? So I am not into this palette. I could not get it to work for me. I love the colors, but this is just no good for me. I didn't like it. Here is from Natasha Denona. This is the Aeries palette. This was released holiday 2017. This was just released this holiday season, and I love this palette, especially for a few colors. I love this color right here. This matte is phenomenal. I love this matte. I really enjoy this blue too. Oh, it's such a beautiful blue, and I like this color right here to put all over my lid. These two colors here are like, to me. I don't think that they're the best colors. I've tried to use them a lot, and to me, they're just like whatever. That's not enough for me to declutter this palette. So in one of my virtual window shoppings, I just finished using this palette, and I had it all over my eyes, and it had a lot of glitter on, and you guys really liked that eye look. So I have come up with some really cool eye looks with this product, so it's not a product that I can part ways with, so I'm keeping it. Alright guys, so this is from Colourpop. This is the Colourpop collaboration, and it's like the My Little Pony collaboration that Colourpop came out with last year. And I really bought this only because it's My Little Pony. That's the only reason. And I was obsessed with My Little Pony when I was little, so I really wanted this palette because I really like My Little Pony. The colors in the palette are pretty. It's not anything out of this world. I don't think this is a palette that anybody needs to go run out and buy. I don't think the pigment in this palette is that great. I think it's okay. It's a nice palette. It's not awesome, but I'm keeping the palette because I like My Little Pony, and I also don't have like these type of colors in my collection, like these like real pastel-y colors, so I'm keeping it. So this palette here is another BoxyCharm palette that I got, and it's from Pure Cosmetics, and I got it in my BoxyCharm. It's called the Soirées Diary. No, I do not need this palette. It is like it's like one of those palettes that you do have in your collection and you don't need, but I use this a lot. I really like the way that these colors blend. I love the pigment of it. I just think it's a really good neutral palette, so I can't part ways with it because of that, so I'm keeping it. You hear that a lot, huh? Keeping it. Okay, well, this one here is from BoxyCharm and Pure as well, and I got this in my BoxyCharm, and I was so excited when I saw this palette was going to be in our BoxyCharm. I thought the colors were so pretty, but I don't like this palette at all. I don't like the way they blend. I don't think they have good pigment. I've tried it a lot of different times. I don't like, there's like a weird smell in it. I don't like it. I am going to declutter this one. So then now we have a product from Tarte. I got this also in my BoxyCharm, and I really thought that the colors in here were so beautiful, and I really liked it a lot. And honestly, for right now, the only reason I like this is because of the packaging. I don't think the product inside is that great. I thought that they were going to be a lot better than they were. When I tried them on, I did like them, but as I've been using them over and over and over again, it's like kind of like been going downhill for me. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just certain colors are better than others, but it's okay of a palette. I think I'm going to keep it only because I really like the case, but I'm just going to keep it for that reason, which is not the reason that you should keep makeup, guys, but I am. This is from L'Oreal. I do like this little quad. I like the colors in it. It works really good. I do like it. I don't think I can part ways with it. I'm going to keep it. Should I cut this out of the video so you guys don't see me like keep so many things? Alright guys, so this is from Blink, and this is also a BoxyCharm collaboration. This is a really pretty palette. I do like the colors in it here. I don't have a complaint about the way they work. I think it actually works really good, but I'm going to declutter it because I do have these colors in my collection, and it's not like that amazing that I need to keep it compared to some of my other products, so I will declutter this guy. So this one here is from Huda Beauty. This is my Smoky Obsessions eyeshadow palette, and guys, I love these palettes. The colors are so pretty. They work really awesome on the eyes. They will last long. They blend good, and I like it a lot, so I'm keeping it. I got rid of 8. This is probably the worst declutter video you have ever seen in your life. But I did make room for 8 new eyeshadow palettes, and I'm still on the fence with some of the other ones. Maybe I'll revisit them and get rid of them later. Let me know if you guys want to see me declutter anything else from my collection. I can move on to my foundations and my concealers and some other goodies in my collection. Let me know if you guys want to see more declutter videos. But yeah, I'm happy that I did declutter some stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this relaxed style declutter, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye!
Yes, I did.